Each week on Culinary Confidential, Christina Cates, a seasoned foodie who has worked at some of New York City's top restaurants, will share her passion for the culinary world. Whether you're a professional chef, a restaurant enthusiast, or a lover of good food, Christina dives into the heart of hospitality, exploring the trends, triumphs, and challenges facing the food service profession. And you won't want to miss her chats with some of the most interesting and influential industry voices. And now, please take your seat at the table as Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates starts now, exclusively on AM 970. The Answer.
Welcome to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates. This show is produced in association with my dear friend, Lucas A. Ferrara. For those just tuning in for the first time, this is just our happy little hour together talking about all corners of the food, beverage, and hospitality world. I'm a foodie at heart and spent most of my professional career managing busy restaurants in Manhattan after finishing a restaurant management program downtown in New York City. My favorite thing to do is to grab a couple of friends and check out a new place or an old favorite. I guess you can call me a foodie. Food is just universal and something we all need in life, and a topic we can connect over. Speaking of topics, if you have any topics or ideas you want to hear on the show, send me a note on Instagram. My handle is Culinary Confidential Christina. This very show tonight came together by someone messaging me saying, there's a robust food scene happening in Queens that you should really dive into. I said, okay, challenge accepted. Queens, New York isn't really in my wheelhouse, so here we are, let's learn together. It's not new news that New York City is a melting pot for many different cultures. But the borough of Queens specifically is known to be one of the most diverse urban areas in the world. The borough has long been a hub for immigrant communities, and this cultural richness is reflected in its food landscape. Queens offers a microcosm of global cuisines shaped by waves of immigration from Europe, Asia, Latin America, and the Middle East. The 7 train is known as the International Express and runs through neighborhoods like Jackson Heights, Elmhurst, and Flushing, showcasing cuisines from countries such as Mexico, Colombia, Nepal, Bangladesh, and China. And then the area under the tracks, especially Roosevelt Avenue, is renowned for its street vendors, food trucks, and markets serving authentic home-style dishes. What's interesting about the borough of Queens is that each neighborhood has its specialty. For example, in Astoria, it's been historically a center for Greek immigration and is famous for its Greek tavernas and seafood restaurants. Italian and Balkan influences also thrive there. If we move over to Rego Park, it's known for its Bukharian Jewish cuisine, and this community can trace its roots to Uzbekistan. They feature a lot of dishes here of grilled skewers and rich rice and meat dishes. Flushing is a culinary hotspot for Chinese cuisine, particularly Sichuan and Cantonese, as well as Korean. And then in Jackson Heights, there's a vibrant mix of South Asian and Himalayan flavors offering Indian curries, Bangladeshi street food, Tibetan momos, and Nepalese dishes. Queens offers many food tours and opportunities to explore the food history, so if you get the chance, you should definitely do that. There are almost 10,000 restaurants in this borough, and we're going to talk to just a handful of them tonight. My first guest this evening is going to share with us the diverse food scene happening in Queens that I was just mentioning. His name is Dirk McCall de Paloma. Professionally, he is the executive director of Sunnyshine's Business Improvement District. But more informally, he's a devout Queens resident that loves to put the spotlight on the borough he cherishes so deeply. He's very active on social media, and his specialty is bringing the community together. Dirk is going to hold our hand through this episode and has invited on the show a revolving door of guests that have a variety of different restaurants in Queens. Dirk, welcome to Culinary Confidential. You're kind of my co-host here tonight, so thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited for you to be here. Before we get started about the incredible Dirk and all that you're doing in Queens, share which food concepts you've invited on the show tonight.
So we have we're going to have 4 restaurants here to talk a little bit about their cuisines in Sunnyside. We're going to have Empire Shop that has some of the best sandwiches in the entire borough, in the entire city. Absolutely innovative, wonderful, delicious sandwiches. All sorts of really good food, smoothies. it's really one of the culinary gems of Sunnyside.
Ooh, culinary
Following
gems.
that, we in Sunnyside we have a very large Korean population, and we have the best new hot Korean restaurant in Sunnyside with an incredible bulgogi, incredible food, and it's become a community center where people go to relax, to hang out, to meet friends, and it's become a community gathering spot. Following that, we're going to be going for something sweet. We have one of the best French bakeries in Sunnyside, Maison de Gâteau, and we're going to be learning a little bit about Adam and some of the work he's doing there. It's very dangerous, but very delicious. And then we're going to close out with Shaw's Halal. And a lot of people know Shaw's Halal from their food carts. But now they're opening up brick and mortar locations.
They have them all over, I think, right?
They have a few. And the first one was in Sunnyside, and Garasha, who's the owner, he's amazing. The food is good. I go there a lot too often because it's $10 for chicken and rice with all sorts of wonderful sauces and vegetables, and I've convinced myself it's healthy and good for me, and it's definitely better for my wallet than ordering on Grubhub.
I love it. I can't wait to speak to everyone tonight on the show. Okay, it's important to note that Long Island City has the only Michelin-starred restaurant in Queens called Meju. Meju is a traditional Korean fermentation restaurant located within Little Banshin Shop in Long Island City. This Chef Hoonee Kim's third restaurant after he opened Danji in Hanjan. Meju is the culmination of all of his years of experience as a Korean chef and as a fermenter. So that's something I think people don't really know, is that there's a Michelin-starred restaurant in Queens.
Actually, there's a second one. There's one in
Recently?
Sunnyside, too. It's Michelin listed. It's not a Michelin starred, but it's
Michelin
Michelin
listed,
listed.
yeah.
It's a restaurant called Cardamom Indian Cuisine. And people think of Indian food when they think of Queens because there's a very large, vibrant South Asian community in like 4 different pockets in the borough. But Cardamom is truly one of the best restaurants in all of Queens. And people go to Sunnyside looking for really, really good Indian cuisine. It's a Goan flavored restaurant. So it's Indian cuisine from the area of Goa. And it's very innovative. Anil and his son Anik really strive to come up with really creative, interesting flavors and interesting combinations. They have a brunch special on the weekend, which will knock your socks off. It's just all sorts of creative takes on Indian cuisine, and it's very, very high end. But it's delicious. It's a very small restaurant, so reservations are recommended. But every year we do the Taste of Sunnyside, where we have about 65 restaurants participating, and Cardamom is always one of the top 2 or 3 restaurants when people have a chance to go eat. They're constantly going back. There's usually a line outside waiting to get a table. It's just that popular.
Okay, so if I come to Sunnyside, will you take me to dinner there?
Yes, definitely. It's open after 4 o'clock. This is one of the issues that we have with some of the restaurants in Sunnyside. A lot of are open for lunch, but a lot are not. So a lot of them are dinner restaurants. But I started as the executive director of Sunnyside Shines, the local business improvement district, 3 years ago. And I always knew Sunnyside had good restaurants. But I've lived in Western Queens for over 32 years, and I always thought of Sunnyside as an Irish neighborhood. It was always historically Irish, Sunnyside and Woodside.
Woodside, I knew it was Irish. I wasn't
very, very,
certain
very
about
Irish.
Sunnyside.
We still have the bars. We still have the large Irish bar population. We still have a large cuisine with like some Irish comfort restaurants. So there still is a presence, but the Irish population has evolved and moved like all populations come and go. Sunnyside is now 50% Latino, predominantly Mexican and Ecuadorian. Sunnyside is about 30% Asian. The largest group is Korean. And the food scene has changed. We have one of the only Bolivian restaurants in the city.
Wow.
The Bolivian Llama Party. We have one of the only Paraguayan restaurants in the city, I Love Paraguay Restaurant. Truly the best sangria you're ever going to find in your entire life. I hesitate to let people know about that because then the lines are going to be longer. But I go there on a regular basis and throw back an entire pitcher very quickly because it's really, really good. We have the only Algerian restaurant in the city, Casbah Cafe.
I've never dined at an Algerian restaurant.
It's really good. It's really good. A lot of people who are looking for Algerian food, they come straight to Sunnyside. Some people land at JFK Airport. They stop there on their way into Manhattan.
Wow.
It's really good. We have a very vibrant Turkish restaurant scene. We have Turkish Grill. We have Sofra Mediterranean. We have Chakra Cafe. We have a very vibrant and dynamic Turkish restaurant scene in Sunnyside. We have the largest Romanian population in the city. So we have Romanian Garden and we have Danubius restaurants. So if you're looking for Romanian restaurants, we're the place to go for that.
Okay, well, what don't you have in Sunnyside?
We have everything.
It sounds like
we have everything.
You have any Italian restaurants? I haven't heard any of that.
We have Sole Luna, which Sole Luna is owned by a brother and two sisters. Sole Luna, Sotto la Stelle, Sotto la Luna, and Arcobaleno, which is a gelateria. They own 4 restaurants, 3 in Sunnyside, 1 in Astoria. It's delicious. It's very high-end Italian, and people thrive. They flock to it. There's every seat at Sole Luna is taken every single night.
So, Dirk, it sounds like you're a man about town.
Yes.
Right? You know
Sometimes.
every restaurant, every restaurant owner.
Yes.
You're never waiting for a table. I guess that feeds into what you actually do for a living with Sunnyside Shines.
Yes.
Tell us more about that background.
We do marketing campaigns for the neighborhood. We do the street sweeping to keep the streets clean, the trash cans emptied. We put up the holiday lights. We do community celebrations to really celebrate the cultural heritages of all the different groups that are in Sunnyside. But we do Sunnyside Restaurant Week once a year, which is 2.5 weeks.
When is that?
It's going to be in the end of March this year.
Okay.
End of March, beginning of April. We always try to make sure we're not falling around the religious holidays, and I need a better religious calendar because I have made the mistake multiple times where I'm like too close to Easter or too close to some of the Jewish holidays, and everybody thoughtfully sends me all sorts of reminders. I'm like, yes, I need a better calendar. I know this.
But don't you do it the same time every year? Like, isn't Restaurant Week always kind of the same
usually
part of the year?
But the religious holidays float. So
right, okay, that makes sense.
So we do that, and we do what's called the Taste of Sunnyside. We had the biggest tasting event in all of Western Queens, and we had 65 restaurants participating the last one on October 13th, the second Sunday of October, and people buy a ticket. We had 1,300 people come out and buy tickets and walk around. So it's a restaurant crawl.
How much is a ticket?
A ticket's $50.
But you're having many meals.
You are spending less than $1 per restaurant, and you get to walk around. We have it over a 6-hour period, and you can walk, and you can get your exercise, and you can see the restaurants. So we send people to the restaurants themselves, to their actual locations, so you can go back and buy food from them later. You can find them on Grubhub. You can find them on Seamless. If they have their own website, that's even better, just so that you're cutting out the middleman and going directly to the restaurant. But it's important to know where the restaurant is and to have things that you've tried on the menu. We had 9 new restaurants this year. We have a Indian Chinese fusion restaurant called Tangra that participated for the first time, and they're known for their soups. They have the best hot and sour soup in Queens, possibly in the city. It's delicious. They have a chicken corn soup, which is out of this world. People don't know. It's a very modest-looking restaurant from the outside, and people, unless they've gone in, they may or may not know how delicious Tangra really is.
Right.
But everybody afterwards was like, oh, my God, I tried the soups at Tangra. I'm going back. People post about it in all the Sunnyside Facebook groups at this point. Wow. So the Taste of Sunnyside opens the door. It's kind of the gateway tasting experience to get people to go back to these restaurants. And restaurants that take it seriously, like Soul Bistro and Empire Shop, these are places where people, they see the deliciousness. They see what's available. They see the space. They meet the owners. They meet the managers. We always say it's better to have somebody with a big personality who's going to welcome people and make people feel at home, because then people are like, I know the owner.
Yeah.
I met
Everybody
the owner.
wants to know the owner.
They do. We have one of the original Mad for Chickens. The owner of Mad for Chicken lives in Sunnyside, and I think we are the second Mad for Chicken. It's right around the corner from my office. Really delicious. I think actually the wings are better at Soul Bistro, though. I'm just going to be honest. Don't tell them I said that.
They're going to hear it now.
They're still good. They're still delicious. But we have 3 Nepalese restaurants in Sunnyside. We're almost ready to have our own Momo crawl.
Wow.
We have Bajeko Sakuya, which is absolutely out of this world delicious. It's like Nepalese with an Indian flair, and the translation of the name is Grandfather's Table, and it's just an amazing place with a huge restaurant upstairs, a music location downstairs where they have Nepalese music played. We have one of the few Lebanese restaurants in Queens, Souk Al Shater. We have new bagels that came to Sunnyside, Curly's Bagels. Curly's Bagels, they're sourdough bagels, and they sell out every day by 1 o'clock.
Sourdough's all the rage now. Everyone's doing sourdough everything.
It's dangerous and delicious.
I wonder if the Empire Bistro guy has a sourdough bread on his menu for his sandwich shop. We'll have to ask him later.
We're definitely going to find that out.
All right.
Everybody does that. We had the first Mexican artisanal bakery, Masa Madre, open up this year. Masa Madre also sells out all their bread products by about 1 o'clock. They have chocolate conchas. They have vanilla conchas. They have all sorts of different Mexican breads. People are flocking to it, and people are raving about the food on a regular basis. We have the best pupusas in all of Queens, and probably all of the city. Ricas pupusas y más. Absolutely delectable. It's a family where a Salvadoran woman married a Mexican husband, and she and her 4 daughters cook a fusion of Salvadoran and Mexican food. So the pupusas are slightly different than the regular pupusas you'd get at a regular Salvadoran restaurant. There's a lot more flavor, a lot more spice.
Wow.
And when the owner first told me that she was going to make me a pupusa, like, I've had pupusas. I like pupusas. And she's like, you haven't had my pupusas. And people tell me things like that all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sure, your pupusas are probably going to taste like everybody else's pupusas. No, they really didn't. They were absolutely the best pupusas I've ever had.
Well, I don't see you bringing any into the studio tonight.
I know. Irma
comes
wasn't available
empty-handed
on
a food crawl.
I know. I apologize on that. She's unfortunately not available on Mondays. But the food is delicious. It's absolutely amazing. We have a lot of comfort foods too. So we have the Lowry Bar and Kitchen. We have Bar 43. We have a large number of Colombian restaurants. If you like Colombian empanadas, we have Cafe Colombia. We have Caprichos. We have the only New York location for Los Verdes. We have Demole Mexican restaurant, which is one of the gold gems of the Mexican food in the city. We have Chihuahua restaurant. We have a lot of Peruvian restaurants, La Minya Peruvian, Rico Peruvian.
Wow.
It's a delicious place. And we have the best diner in Western Queens. People talk about diners. Diners are still here.
Listen, I'm from New Jersey. I'm from the diner capital of the world. So if you're going to talk about diners, you better say something good.
Oh, this diner is
Do they have
the
disco
best.
fries?
They do have disco fries.
Okay.
They also serve wine. They also serve all sorts of mixed drinks. Pete's Diner, the place to eat. Oh, my God. It's delicious. It's the most welcoming diner you're ever going to find. Friendly, helpful, parking on the side.
That's important
it's
in New York
very
for
helpful.
sure.
We have a gelateria. We have an ice cream place, Elio's Ice Cream. We have a lot of really amazing places in Sunnyside.
Okay.
And
I think you named every single one tonight.
I didn't, but I could. I could go on for another 2 hours easily. But that's too long a show. But Sunnyside is a restaurant oasis. It's a small, contained neighborhood right off the 7 train.
Okay, how far is it from Manhattan? That's like my safe place.
15 minutes.
On the train?
15 minutes on the 7 train.
And then if I took an Uber?
If you took an Uber, 10 minutes, tops.
Oh, that's not bad.
We're the second neighborhood in. So right across the river from Manhattan is Long Island City.
Right, that
and
I know.
Long Island City is great. Long Island City has a very different flavor from Sunnyside.
Mm-hmm.
Long Island City is very Asian. Long Island City is probably about 50% Asian at this point. A lot of new Chinese restaurants, very high-end Chinese restaurants.
Yeah.
It's becoming like a new mecca of Asian cuisine. But then you get to Sunnyside. As soon as you hit 30th Street, you're underneath the Sunnyside rail yards. You're on Queens Boulevard. And you're in Sunnyside, which is, we have 43rd Avenue, we have Skillman, we have Queens Boulevard, 47th Avenue, 48th Avenue. We have restaurants on every single avenue, and the diversity of cuisine is absolutely amazing.
Okay, amazing. And when we get back from the commercial break, we're going to, introduce our friends onto the show, and we're going to talk about what they're doing in their restaurants. So stay tuned. You're listening to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970 The Answer.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. ferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
Welcome back to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970. The Answer.
Welcome back. We're talking about the food scene in Queens tonight. And on the show with me, I have Dirk McCall de Paloma co-hosting with me because he's the Queens guru and I'm not. So, Dirk, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much again for having me.
Okay, first on the show, we're going to bring Danny from Empire Shop in Sunnyside.
Hi, how are you guys?
Hi, Danny. Thanks for coming in the studio tonight.
Thank you for bringing me here.
Empire Shop is delicious. You owe it to yourself to try their sandwiches. Danny Astudillo and his wife are absolutely two of the best restaurateurs you're ever going to meet.
Oh, wow. Why didn't you bring your wife in the studio tonight, Danny?
One of us has to stay.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Okay, so let's talk about Empire Shop. What inspired you to start this casual restaurant concept?
When I was 14, I actually started in the food restaurant business. My dad brought me when my dad came to the States. He was a delivery guy. I was 14 years old. He actually brought me to the restaurants. I fell in love how they started working. I fell in love the way just the guys handle the food. I fell in love the way the whole culinary food, everything. I just
it's an addiction.
Yes, I feel like as soon as I walked in, they just hit me with like, this is what you're going to do. I started little by little. I worked in different restaurants in the city.
Oh, give me some big names.
I worked at Cafe Metro.
Okay.
Delmonico's.
Oh,
for
nice.
catering. I was actually the kid working after hours, staying for 2 hours extra, just to learn what everybody did, just to learn what the sandwich did, just to learn what the salad guy is doing and what's gonna go on the next day.
Hands-on experience. There's no better education than working hands-on in something.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like everybody says that sometimes they don't pay us enough, but I feel the fact is that if you want to learn, you go there and you stay there to learn and make sure that you learn because you're gonna use that in the future. And I believe that's what happened. I learned everything I needed to learn. I work hard. I work my extra hours, and Empire came up. I work in different places, and I saw actually what every place did wrong and what I can fix in the food industry to change the food industry.
Wow. Okay, but you could have opened any kind of restaurant you wanted to, and you were like, I want to do the sandwich shop route. What made you do that?
I actually worked various places. I actually worked in Juice Generation as well. So what I did is I infused sandwiches with a little bit of Juice Generation and a little bit of acai bowls, juices. So if you want to come to my shop and you want to eat something healthy, I have something healthy for you. But if you're hungry and you're really hungry and you want a big sandwich, then we have that too.
I know, you're kind of like a Jersey Mike's meets Playa Bowls.
So much better.
So much better.
Maybe all of that put together.
Yeah, you have a little bit of everything.
I have a little bit of everything.
Smoothies and juices. I love it. What are some of your best sellers at Empire Shop?
We have a couple of sellers. Actually, the number one sandwich is the mariachi, the Cuban, and the Empire sandwich.
Okay, I kind of could figure out what's on the Cuban, but what's on the mariachi?
So every sandwich has a story behind it. There's like 15. The mariachi behind it was that me growing up, actually I'm Mexican, and me growing up a torta, Mexican torta, everywhere I went to eat it, they only gave me a small little piece of meat. So again, I wanted to introduce and fix every problem in the culinary school once I grew up. So what I did is I added breaded chicken, and then I added, which is the special, which is a tinga, shredded chipotle chicken, from my mom's recipe, and that's what made the sandwich. That's what everybody loved, because not only that it had two different types of chicken, but like it had lettuce, tomato. It was a big sandwich that everybody was just full on it.
Yeah, it felt like home cooking more.
It felt like home cooking on a sandwich, which people are rushing. Remember, we're in New York, so we don't have time to eat. So you eat while you walk, you eat while you work.
Yeah, it sounds like you cook with love.
A lot of love. It's my passion.
Do you get many visitors from outside of Sunnyside, or is your clientele mostly local?
No, we do get a lot of clientele from outside. Around the neighborhood in Sunnyside, there's a lot of Airbnbs. There's a lot of hotels.
I don't think I knew that.
We have a lot of people that actually come from the airport, just like Dirk said. They come in, they Google, very important. They Google, they see your pictures, they see all the love that you put in your work, and people will just come to stop by to say hi.
Okay, so then, what role does social media or online reviews play in your marketing strategy?
I feel like they play a big role. When people leave a comment or a star on Google, not only does it something personal to me, but it's social pride, and everybody sees. I believe it's like an open book of what everybody wants to see, and there's no lies. People actually go out there and actually post exactly what they felt once they hear that burst of sandwich, juices, acai bowls in your mouth.
What's something you want people to know about Empire Bistro that maybe they wouldn't know from just going on your website or social media?
Empire Shop, it's a family-owned business. And every single time that a customer comes in the shop, we make them feel that it's a family-owned restaurant. Like, there's my wife working there.
It's personal for you.
It's personal.
It's not just a job.
It's not just a job. I take every sandwich personal. I take every customer that comes in. I actually build a relationship with every single customer that comes in, because I feel like that's what you need to do. You need to grow your business. And anybody else that a customer will come in, and that's what we try to build because of the customers.
I love it. Okay, that's Empire Shop on 39th Place in Sunnyside, Queens. Danny, thank you so much for coming in the studio tonight. If we need sandwiches, we're coming to you.
And you have to make certain you try their sandwiches with pernil. They have some of the best pernil combos. Delicious.
Okay.
We have a catering department as well. So we cater to all the city. We have a lot of we actually have a lot of clientele in the city, like J.P. Morgan. We have
good to know.
Yeah, we have J.P. Morgan. We have McCain, which is another big company. So that's one of our clients that we cater to.
Amazing. Danny, thank you again.
Thank you.
Okay, that was Danny from Empire Shop in Sunnyside. Dirk, don't go anywhere. We have more restaurants coming on the show shortly.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
Welcome back to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970. The Answer.
Welcome back. All right, we're talking about the food scene in Queens tonight. On the show with me is my special little co-host, Dirk McCall de Paloma, who's been guiding us through Sunnyside mostly and the variety of restaurants that's offered there. So we just finished up with Danny from Empire Shop. Dirk, who are we bringing on the show next?
Next, we have an incredible duo from a delicious Korean restaurant. Sunnyside has a very large Korean population, and it's growing, it's diverse, it's dynamic. If you've had Korean food before, bulgogi and kimchi are two of the greatest things you're ever going to find in your entire life. It's like crack. It's just delicious. It's wonderful stuff, and it's addictive. And they do really creative things with the bulgogi. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Alvaro Lopez, the manager.
Alvaro Lopez, welcome to Culinary Confidential.
Hello, thank you for the invite.
Oh, it's our pleasure. We're excited to have you here because I don't know a lot about Queens.
You're going to learn right now. You're learning right now.
Oh,
So
great. And who else we have on the show tonight?
Hello, this is Gerald.
Hi,
Nice to meet
Gerald.
you all.
And you're the owner of Soul Bistro?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, guys, what makes your business unique within the neighborhood?
well, we are one of the few Korean restaurants, on Sunnyside, after, Long Island City. And we try to be very unique, we try to be very authentic, but also with a little bit of a fusion. For our lunch, we had a great lunch special because, a lot of people, are for lunch on Sunnyside. So we're trying to attract that. We got sandwiches for like $12 with like fries included. And we try to like twist it up a little bit. That's the fusion about. So we make like a cheesesteak. So it's like a Philly cheesesteak, but we use bulgogi. So that's the difference. Then we have like a pork belly sandwich or like a galbi burger that is pretty much made out of short ribs.
So it's like a Korean fusion restaurant.
Yes, we're for everybody, just like Sunnyside.
Yeah.
We're for everybody. So let's say that yes, we're like a fusion, but we also try to have like some very authentic plates, like the galbi jim.
The traditional plates.
Traditional. So we have a little bit for everybody, pretty much.
Seoul has, and I'm talking about Seoul, Korea, not Seoul Bistro. They have a great street food market scene there. Am I correct?
Gerald?
Yeah, Korea, Seoul is the capital of South Korea. They have about 10 million people in population. The street food is very popular, so we try to incorporate that into our menu. So we have sotok, sausage, and rice cakes, and we have odang. We're going to have dalgona, which was featured on Squid Game, which is coming back again on December 24th. We have bibimbap, so many variety of food with traditional and a little bit of fusion.
So one time I took a flight. I was going to Bali, and I had to stop over in Seoul for the connecting flight. And I was supposed to have 12 hours in Seoul to kind of walk around and, try the food there. And there was a volcano that erupted. Our flight got delayed. So I never got that layover in Seoul. And that was like one of my biggest regrets in life was I never left the airport. And I never got to try the food in Seoul. So I guess if I go to Seoul Bistro, I'll just be getting something just as good. Okay.
That's correct.
What role does the neighborhood's cultural diversity play in your offerings or approach at the restaurant?
I think I used to live in Manhattan. I used to live in New York City for about 30 years. There's a lot of diversity of ethnic people in Manhattan too. However, it's cluster. But Sunnyside, I started the business about a year ago. I realized that there's a variety of different nationality people living there. But they didn't have any authentic fusion, full menu Korean restaurants. So I just wanted to open that up to introduce Korean food. Korea is getting very popular in terms of different aspects like sports, Nobel Prize in Literature recently, K-pop, K-food. Recently, do you guys know this song by Rose and Bruno Mars, Apatu Apatu?
Oh, yeah.
That's a traditional Korean drinking game. So let's say 3 people play. You put your hands on randomly in front of you, and you call out a number, say 12. And whoever's hands on the bottom put on top, whoever 12th person has to drink the bomb shot. So you could try that at a restaurant when you come next time. We introduce you. So Korean food is tasty, healthy, a lot of fermented food.
Like kimchi,
된장찌개, healthy. So wanted to introduce that to people in Sunnyside and New York City.
Amazing. Well, I didn't realize you just opened a year ago. So if you made it to the year mark, that's the first benchmark of success, because that's the toughest year is the first one. So I wish you continued success at Soul Bistro. So check out Soul Bistro on Queens Boulevard in Sunnyside, Queens. Alvaro and Gerald, thank you so much for coming in the studio tonight.
Thank you. You have to make certain you try the hoagies there. The bulgogi hoagies
I know,
with cheese. Oh
how
my
many
God.
things can I eat in one night in Sunnyside?
You're going to be having to get a belt extender because I'm going to take you to a lot of good food.
I want it all.
It's good.
And lastly, we're going to have spicy wing challenge. If you finish the wings, it's on us. It's like, so please
Ooh,
welcome.
okay. Challenge
Welcome to
accepted,
come.
Gerald. Thank you so much. All right, Dirk, who's coming on the show next?
Next, we're going to be hearing from Adam Reck. Adam is the owner of Maison de Gâteau, which is a very high-end
All right,
French
you're
bakery.
saying that the whole night. I don't
Yeah.
have that flair. Miss de Gâteau. Okay. Adam, welcome to Culinary Confidential.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm here with your friend Dirk.
Hey.
Hi, Derek. How are you?
We're doing great. All right, tell us about what you're doing in Sunnyside, Queens.
So I have a French bakery. We do mostly wholesale, and we have a small shop retail for the community. And so when I started the bakery, I started the passion for creating high quality baked goods that businesses could rely on to delight their customers. I started my focus because it allows me to partner with cakes restaurants and retailers, helping them offer fresh homemade products that stand out. And after my goal, I created a small space so everyone in the neighborhood could enjoy it as well.
What are some of the things you're selling at the bakery?
So we sell Berry Napoleon, we sell cheesecakes, we sell mousse cakes, cannolis, eclairs. We have over 100 items in the bakery.
Amazing. What do you hear most often from your customers about why they support your business?
They love coming here because we have stuff that I believe Sunnyside that doesn't have. And the thing that I hear most of the time is that we needed something like this in the neighborhood.
Something French?
Yes. Something French, not too sweet, and high quality stuff as well.
Is there a neighboring business that you admire or that you like to collaborate with?
Actually, like one of the businesses that I actually admire and we don't have similarity is Bolivia Llama. So Bolivia Llama been in the neighborhood for a few years, and their food speaks out for itself. Their strong media presence and ability to connect with their audience is something that I really respect. Even though we are in a different food service, but I find the dedication and creativity inspiring.
Yeah, partnerships within the community are very important. Supporting each other,
Absolutely.
right? Reciprocity. One hand washes the other.
Absolutely.
And what advice would you give someone looking to open up a business in Sunnyside?
So start with the basics. Plan first. Research thoroughly. Focus on passion and patience. Do what you love. Be patient. Understand finances. Budget carefully. Invest wisely. Learn to adapt. Stay open to change and keep learning. And you got to build a relationship network, and you focus on your customers.
Any idea, like if you're going to expand the brand and go into some other, towns in Queens?
Actually, my wife, she works in White Plains, City White Plains, and she's been telling me she'll open up something here. So it's the next move. I think White Plains or Westchester. I live in Westchester, and I don't see anything like this around us. Like some of the neighbors, I tell them, Berry Napoleon, and they ask me, what is that? They
Right.
never heard of such a thing.
And
before.
tell us what a Napoleon is.
So Berry Napoleon is phyllo dough with banana cream and fresh strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries.
That sounds delicious. Dirk, what do you think?
It's absolutely one of the most amazing
We going there
things.
too?
Oh, it's delicious.
All right. Well, Adam, thank you so much for your time. You're on the food tour. Dirk's taking me to Queens, and we're going to stop by there. Thank you so much for your time
Please
tonight.
stop by.
I wish you
Thank you
a
for
well in
having
your
me.
business. Thank you. All right, Dirk.
Thank you so much.
Last up, who are we bringing on?
Next,
The big finale.
we have so much good food in Sunnyside. Next, we're going to be hearing from Garash Paiman, who
Garash.
owns Shah's Halal. Shah's Halal now has a brick and mortar location on Greenpoint Avenue which is one of the commercial corridors of Sunnyside. And it's absolutely amazing. They had a food cart for a number of years. They built up a huge brand loyalty. It's delicious. It's halal. Sunnyside has a very large Muslim population. And this is halal, so everybody who's practicing Muslim is able to go there, and everything on the menu is halal.
Garash, hi, it's Christina from Culinary Confidential.
Hey, Christina, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. I have Dirk in studio with me tonight.
Hey.
Dirk, say hi.
How are you?
Hey, Derek, how are you?
Good, good.
He was just whispering sweet nothings in our ears about about halal food. So we're excited to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So this Sunnyside location is the first location for Shah's Halal, but there's many locations spread out.
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah,
where else
so-
are they located?
Yes. So we started in 2006. Not me, actually. The founders of Shah's Halal Food, which is like my family, their relatives. They started in South Richmond Hill in Jamaica, 121 Liberty Avenue. We started in 2006 from the food trucks, and then we slowly spread out throughout the whole Jamaica, Queens area. Then we had Queens College, and then we started slowly spreading like all over Queens, and my first location was Sunnyside, and I believe it was like 2015 in December. That's when I started, and Sunnyside has been nothing but great to me. You know, that's where I started, and now we have a store over there in Sunnyside, so it's doing pretty good. You know.
Okay, amazing. So I just want to speak a little bit about what halal meat is. In the preparation and things like that. So can you expand on what does halal mean in the context of food?
Yeah, sure. So halal means is we slaughter the animal in the name of God, and the way we slaughter the animal is through their jugular vein. That's where we do with a hand slaughter. So nowadays they do a lot of machine slaughters, but it's supposed to be all hand slaughter. So we do our prayers first, and then we cut the jugular vein, so that way the animal doesn't feel the pain. You know, nowadays you see a lot of meat. They torture the animal. You know, they do it very cruel way to do things. But that's what halal means.
Are there any non-halal meats?
Yeah, non-halal meat means that you do it differently. Like you don't do the prayers, you don't do the way you're supposed to do, like with the hand slaughter, the bihar slaughter, and stuff like that.
Okay. And what are some popular dishes that you're selling at Shah's Halal?
So the most popular dish is chicken over rice. It's our special marinated chicken that we started back in 2006. We started doing this marination back at home. We used to make it and bring it to the food truck and stuff like that. And it got really famous because the spicy level is really good. And then we also have lamb, which is really famous. People like it a lot. So chicken and lamb is mostly everybody gets.
Okay, I would get the chicken.
It's delicious.
I'm not into lamb so much.
The rice is amazing. The meat is amazing. They have amazing sauces on top of it. White sauce, hot sauce. They mix a number of...
The spicier, the better.
They put garbanzos with it. They put beans with it. They put some onion. It's just amazing. And you get tomato and cucumber. You're going to be so happy. And it's affordable.
That's very important in this day and age.
Yeah, definitely. What makes us different from other halal carts is that we are very consistent with our food. We stand for high quality and good customer service. And we do have we're focusing more on stores. So we have over 50, 60 locations all over the state. We do have locations in London, Sweden, Canada. So we are expanding, and there's about 30 more locations are pending all over the states.
Wow, you guys are killing it in the whole halal game.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, because it's delicious and everybody wants to go there.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
So like I said, we stand for good customer service and quality food. We make sure that our food is always consistent and it's good, it's fresh. The vegetables always fresh, So that's what we stand for. And then we don't one bad customer review on Google. We take that really serious,
I understand. Garash, thank you so much for your time tonight. We're going to definitely check out Shah's Halal on Greenpoint Ave in Sunnyside, Queens. You were our last stop on the culinary tour tonight.
Oh, nice. Now, yeah, anywhere in the States, you could just Google Shah's. You will find it nearby in very, very soon time, okay?
We definitely will. Thank you for listening to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. on AM 970 The Answer. And thank you to my amazing guests this evening, especially Dirk McCall de Paloma and all of the restaurants that were showcased on today's show. Queens, New York exemplifies how immigration shapes and enriches urban food culture, offering an unparalleled diversity of flavors that reflects its vibrant community life. I hope you found tonight's show interesting and, like myself, will make more of an effort to support a community that contributes so greatly to the evolving food scene. Again, if you want to keep up with Culinary Confidential, please follow the show on Instagram at Culinary Confidential Christina. A big thank you to my amazing engineer, Alex Garrett. Check out his podcast, One Leg Up with Alex, streaming on all major platforms. That's all for tonight. Thanks for listening and have a great night.